Right, good afternoon. Next week is Apprenticeship Week in the country. It's a week of activity to raise the profile of apprenticeships. It's intended to attract employers, apprentices, obviously mentors, teachers and everybody that might be affected in it. We've been invited and I'm going to the Houses of Parliament next week to hear all about the new era of apprenticeships, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you when I find out more about it. But I suppose one of the things that we're all wondering, and I must admit up to 48 hours ago I was too, is why are we interested in this week in particular, and what does it mean to us at TMAT, what does it mean to you, what does it benefit the people who own the company, etc. Well, there's two reasons really why I want to get behind it, why I want us to support it. One's a personal reason, I'm going to share that with you in a minute, and the other one is just hard, fast business reason, which is obviously good. And when both of those things are required, obviously, there's a force of will to make it happen. So, from a personal point of view, I don't know if you know, but I wasn't actually born a managing director. I wasn't born being able to read a balance sheet, and I'm sure Laura would say I still can't now. But I didn't know anything about chemistry, didn't know anything about manufacturing. I had to learn all these things. I left school. I did okay at school, but I didn't go to Eton or Oxford or anything like that. I had a good, comprehensive school education. But when I started work, I was fortunate enough to work for somebody who was very interested in me and very interested in developing me, making sure that I had the ability to learn, opportunities to grow, educate myself, go to college, etc. And having done that on and off for a considerable number of years, and over 20 years now, all the time I've been learning. And although it's never been labelled officially as an apprenticeship for me, I obviously judge myself as having served one or two in my time. And what that's enabled us to do, and it's particularly evident to me when it comes to payroll, when we sign off, when I authorise the payroll, which is a big number, and we've got over 120 people here now, when we authorise that, all that money, all that value is being created as a direct result of that learning, and not my learning, but our learning altogether. Similarly, like I couldn't read a balance sheet or understand polyurethane chemistry. You guys weren't born knowing how to operate the machines that you do. You didn't know, you weren't born with the spanner in your hand, I guess, you guys, etc. So that knowledge and that learning creates wealth, and the wealth is very important. It's not just about keeping people in, fancy luxury goods. It's very important to make the world go around. The wages that we pay, obviously, contribute back to the government in forms of tax, and I don't know if you know, but the government's after every penny it can at the moment. So we are actually giving back and contributing quite generously. The company pays tax as well. You pay tax on the goods that you buy from the wages that we pay you. So we're good contributors to the country. And I'm pleased to say, because we've grown, we're actually probably one of the exceptional ones. But also, in terms of not just the wealth, it also means that suppliers and customers and other people who own businesses and other people who work in those businesses, that wealth is helping them to grow. So this whole learning community is directly contributing to people creating or enjoying the benefits of money, which obviously gives us the lifestyles we want. And the second reason, of course, is this hard business reason is people are never going to live forever. I'm not going to live forever, and I doubt that in 10 years' time I'll be your MD, and I doubt that the senior management team will be your managers then. So there's just the simple fact of succession planning. There is no reason why TMAT cannot live for 500 years, if need be. We might be sounding a bit ridiculous saying that now, but some of the oldest companies in the world, and therefore richest companies in the world, wouldn't be old and rich if they didn't have things like succession planning in. So it's very important that as I become old and decrepit, someone can step into my shoes, and similarly, the succession plan goes throughout the whole organisation. So it's just a very sensible reason to do it. And the other reason is, as we've grown, and let's face it, TMAT's a very successful business today. It's more than doubled in the last 3 years, and as it expands and grows, you end up with these little pockets, these little isolated vacuums of knowledge. And the way that we fill those vacuums is the people who are here now, the existing people, may decide to upskill, learn a bit more, take a bit more responsibility on, and consequently get rewarded and further themselves. So it's for those reasons that things like schemes like apprenticeships, etc., are really useful to us, and essential, in fact, for us to continue. So I've got some messages for apprentices and mentors and managers, and we've got a good cross-section of them in here. But a couple of questions first. We've got Abby, who's sitting here. I think is the newest apprentice along with Dale. But Abby, can you just tell us how long have you been here?
Nearly 3 months.
3 months, okay. And what apprenticeship are you doing?
Business administration.
Business administration, okay. And what do you enjoy the most about that?
Probably learning office skills as part of such a friendly and welcoming team.
Okay, good, okay. And just for everyone in the room, what would you be doing if you wasn't at TMAT now?
I'd be on job seekers allowance and probably applying for jobs that require experience, which I haven't got, so that's something I can gain here.
Okay, so experience and you get to earn a bit of money as well, I guess,
Yeah.
at the same time. Okay. And ultimately, what do you want out of this apprenticeship? What's your ultimate aim?
Well, hopefully I'll complete it and get the qualification, which will help me get into a steady and successful career.
Okay, good. Well, we wish you well with that. And we've got another guy here. James, our rising star. You're not an apprentice, are you, James?
No,
All right, well, go on, tell me a bit about you then.
I've just passed my apprenticeship.
Okay.
Mechanical engineering, maintenance.
Yeah,
I did it for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been here for 4, but really enjoyed it. It's been brilliant.
okay, good. And what's your responsibilities and role now then? Because you say you're a mechanical engineer, yeah?
I'm running my own shift. I'm a key holder. I've got a lot of responsibilities.
Okay, so from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where you
Yeah,
turned up as a,
just right up.
where Abby's probably starting now, you've got a shift, a keys to the factory even?
Yeah.
Well, okay. And if you've got any advice, and it might seem a bit strange, you know, being still regarded as one of the younger guys here, the new guys, but you know, everybody, well, most people in this room are just embarking on an apprenticeship scheme of some sort. So even if you've been here for years, have you got any advice, or what would you say to people like Abby and Dale and some of the guys here?
Just keep at it, get your qualifications, and you'll get there.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. Well, back to before we break. There's just 3 things that I need to say, or things I need to say to 3 groups of people. The first thing there are some mentors in this room, and they're the people who apprentices report into as they're learning and growing and developing their skills. So if you're a mentor, 3 or 4 of you. 3 or 4 things to say. 1, take that responsibility very seriously. You know, the future is literally in your hands. As you're responsible for the person who's learning and growing and going to college, you're responsible for helping them get through that. So support them, encourage them, and the last thing I'll say is do not fail your apprentice. Do not fail them, because it's your failure if you do as well. For the senior management team, sitting over here very quietly, facilitate the mentoring, you know, encourage the activity between mentor and apprentice, and just keep everything on the business plan, which will lead to the success of the business. And for all the apprentices in the room, whether you've been here 10 years, 20 years, or whether you've just been here 10 minutes, but you're embarking on a learning curve or a journey of getting knowledge on board, you know, do work hard at it. Make as many mistakes as you can. You might find that's a strange thing to say, but you'll learn when you make a mistake. Make as many mistakes as you can. Learn, work hard. You know, we're here for you. We won't fail you. We've got some great stories that we can share with you about how we support our apprentices. And you know, don't forget that, you know, this apprenticeship is as much of a value to us as it is to you, which is why we're doing it. And I think there's a buzzword that's going around at the minute, which is for Apprentice Week, which is get with apprenticeships. So I think, you know, for everyone in the room, I think you should say, before we have a break, get with the apprentices, get with the apprenticeships rather, and thanks very much.